Hello everybody, welcome to Coco's Crochet. I'm Litsa and I invite you to join me for the next 5 days while I create as much inventory as I can to fill this basket here in preparation for my upcoming con in March of this year. It's currently the very early days of January, so I thought it's a good opportunity whilst I'm on school holidays to get as much inventory out as I can. Now, of course, along the way, I'll sprinkle a little bit of life in there. It'll be just like hanging out with friends. So I hope you come along with me. I'm very excited to see what we create, and I'm hoping to be able by the end of it to have some prices, because pricing is always very difficult for me. So together, hopefully I can get that part right as well. So sit back and relax, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a whip, or just sit back and hang out with me. I would truly appreciate it. And at the end, we'll see how successful I was. So for now, I'll say I'll see you all very soon. Good morning, it's Monday the 5th of January 2026. So I thought I'd better get serious about this con prep. I started off strong, guys. I made things from my list, which I will share with you a little bit later because we need to choose some patterns to move forward with. My whole plan was to make one item per week. Now I did, as I said, start off strong. I made 30 of the little froggies, leggy froggies. And then I made some snakes. Although I wanted to make 30, very ambitious, I ended up making 10. At some stage, I can't remember which came first, the chicken or the kitties, but I did make 28 chickens out of 30. And then I managed to make 12 little loaf cats and 7 big ones. So, you know, I was pretty much on track. I was being very realistic with my time. I was putting in as much effort as I could. But then what happened was that I got a little bit bored with making the same thing over and over again, which people have been predicting that's what's going to happen because it's happened with them. So I did try different patterns. For example, the little Pokemon here. Then I did a whole week of those, but in between I was making a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But now I need to decide, am I going to go back to where I make something every single week, or should I split up this week by making something every single day? Now, time has gotten away from me a little bit this morning. It's after 10 a.m. I had a cruisy start. I slept in till about 7, which is late for me. Steve has gone to work, so he's back at work. I'm home alone, enjoying the quiet. And it's such a beautiful day that I thought I might sneak in a walk to the post office because I got an alert that there's something in my post office box, which I will share with you when I return. So that's going to delay me for about another hour. But I thought that walking will give me a good opportunity to clear my mind and think of a plan that we will move forward with together. So when you next see me in about an hour or so, I should have something to show you, hopefully from the post office box that relates to Coco's Crochet. And then we'll have a plan of action. See you back very soon. We are at my local shops. Over there is a nice massage place. There's a hairdresser. There's the post office. We have the luxury of having a really nice cafe and a restaurant here. Also a chemist and what else do we have? A dry cleaner. I will walk you to the shop, but there is a lot of traffic, so apologies for the sound. But if you walk straight ahead to the end, you get to, it's bin day here, can you tell? When we get to the end of that road, we get onto a major highway, and that takes us all the way to Canberra. And then if you go up that hill, all the way up that hill, where all those cars are going up like ants. That is the top of the hill, 5-minute walk from here, and that's where I work. Oh wow, too much traffic. Okay, this is me back from an hour walking in the wild. Let me tell you, I feel very, very disheveled. I am sweating profusely, so no judgments, please. But I made it. I got to the post office box and there was a card in there from Josephine. I'll show it to you in a moment. But when I was showing you a little snippet of my local shops, I didn't show you the bottle shop, which is very important, the train station that they're doing up, and the beautiful RSL club that we have that they have just renovated. So we do have a cozy little village type, 5 minutes away from us if we need to, go and hang out with friends at a coffee shop or go to the local hairdresser. And of course the post office is very, very handy. Now the other thing that you would have seen is just a little snippet of the local parklands. Behind me, I'm so lucky that where we live on the corner, over here is the park, and over here is the local golf course, and we live on the 17th hole. And if you walk that way and all the way around towards the shops, there's a parkland and it's separated by the main road, and there's always some wildlife in that around. Sometimes we've even seen foxes and ducks, and where we live, around 3:30 in the afternoon is when all the different birds come and visit. There's kookaburras, there's magpies, there's those little minor birds, there's even ibises lately, cockatoos, cockatiels, parrots, lorikeets. There are so many birds, and it gets very, very noisy. It's like a little aviary of our own behind us. Anyway, let's get onto the card very, very quickly. And then I did make some decisions while I was walking about the crochet. So Josephine, thank you so much for your card. I was terrible this last Christmas, guys. I didn't send out anything to anybody. But let me show you the envelope. There are SpongeBob stickers on here, guys. Look at that. Oh my gosh. You know how much I love SpongeBob, and I absolutely love stickers, and who doesn't? And this is such a beautiful card. I don't know what the lighting is like out here, but I thought I'd sit out here because there's a nice breeze at the moment because it is a very, very hot day. Now, our friend Sally from Nanny Moon's Crochet, she also sent me a Christmas card. So Sally, thank you so much. And again, stickers, guys, who doesn't love stickers? And there's that one there. So they will go into my little memory keeper box. I do have our cards and the Christmas tree up for a little while longer, but it's usually this week that I put it away. I'm so parched, guys. I'm going to have a sip of water. Who else has a little shower cap for their, let me show you, for their mugs when they're outside? I got these at Aldi. Anyway, let's get back to the crochet. So I've got so many of these books, and I have been writing in too many of them. So I did find one of the scribbles that I've added all the extra things that I'm thinking of making. This was my original list here. So as we touched on, we've made the snakes, the chickens, the leggy frogs, and the loaf cats and kitties. And they were from my original list, but I have swayed a little bit. I've made a few Pokemon. I've also made one Demigorgon, which I need to make a few more of. I'm hoping to get at least 10, maybe 20. I added to the list Yodas. All of these I'll show you at some stage, but I'm talking out loud about the things that weren't on the original list and some that I've added. But before we move forward to going back to the original list and finishing off things like, adding to the Demigorgons, making more Derby Tigers, more Pokemon need to be made as well, I thought I'd start off cruisy today, easing myself in, because I haven't done much crochet for the last few days because, social life during the Christmas and New Year's break and what have you. But I have decided that I'm going to continue with the stingrays that I've started making because they are such an easy make. Now, I did go on YouTube to Teresa's crochet shop, which I think everybody uses her stingray pattern. I actually saw them on Rose from Rose Likes Crochet a couple of videos ago when she was showing the ones that she had made for her markets, which reminded me that this would be a great make for, to have a little box with a few cheaper items, and these are pretty quick to make. I haven't timed myself, but I'm thinking around 45 minutes. They all do need a little smile, and I have put safety eyes in them, and it's a great opportunity to use my middle ends that I've got heaps of white. This is all blanket yarn, and I'm using a 7mm hook, and I've got heaps of variegated yarn. That's the one I was using here, but I've got so much. So I've made 4. I think I would like to make 20, but if I made 10, I would be very, very happy. And then the other thing that I've started to make, and this is because our friend Judy, a Witch Piece Craft, she's doing a book buddy cowl crochet or make along, she's calling it. And one of the things in the story that she's featuring is worms. So you need to go and watch her little video on that in case you want to join in as well if you haven't already done so. And I have been wanting to make gummy worms for such a long time. Now, I have started them. They don't have any eyes on them yet. The tutorial that I'm using is by Katie at the Celestial Homebody. It's a great tutorial. I've made these, guys. And the reason why I've made these, I already told you the reason. The way that I'm making these is with these bendy rollers. I know I keep bumping you because I'm outside. I'm not used to this. Now, these are so good because they do bend, and they are a little bit longer than the ones that Katie uses, but these are the only ones I could find at the Reject Shop. I did go to Kmart yesterday and the Reject Shop as well when I was out doing our grocery shop, but I didn't find any more. So I might have to order some more online because my daughter saw them and she said she'd really like some for the children at her work because they'd be great fidget type toys. Now with these, if you're going to make them, and this is all in the tutorial, it's a free tutorial, so I'm not giving away any of Katie's secrets, but it's so amazing that, when you know what to do. So it was such a good video to watch. These things here, they pop out. I've now hot glued them in so that when you bend and stretch that, well, you don't stretch them, when you bend these, they don't pop out, so the wire in the middle doesn't poke through the yarn. Now the yarn that I'm using is, I've had this in my stash for 3.5 years at least. I had bought this in mill ends, a whole lot of colors, and it is that, I think it's like a Premier velvet chenille type yarn. It's not very, very shiny, but it's nice, but it's that yarn that sheds terribly. So you couldn't really do much, well, you can't do any sewing with it really, because I've even struggled here, but the only thing that I have to do with this one is sew in, close the end in, and I actually start off with a 2-chain method instead of a magic circle, so that way you don't have to snap or break this yarn. But I do like the color choices that I have. I am using a 6mm hook, a little bit different to what Katie does in her tutorial, and I have adjusted, which of course, common sense, and she also touches on it, on how many single crochet I start with depending on how wide, the circumference or diameter of your circle on your little hot rollers there. Not hot rollers, rolling rods, whatever they're called, curlers, that's the word. So that's it, that's the plan for today. I am going to have a shower, get changed, have some lunch, and get on to crocheting as many stingrays as I can, and I have 2, 4, 5, 6 rollers left. Now these I have timed myself and they take me half an hour, which isn't very long at all really. I'm sure other people can smash them out quicker than me, but as I've said before, I don't think I'm a fast crocheter. I think I'm a neat crocheter, but I don't think I'm a fast crocheter. So let's leave it at that for now. I will see you again very, very soon. But until then, enjoy your day. Hello, I'm back. It's nearly 10 o'clock at night. I hope you've all had a wonderful day. Steve got home. We had some dinner. We've just finished taping the winners of our hashtag Best Dressed 18-inch Doll Cowl 2025. So were you one of the winners? Let me know. So what have I done since I last saw you? Very little, guys, but I did manage to complete all of these little gummy worms. They all have a face. Some only have eyes. I only have eyes for you. How corny am I? Some eyes, some serious, angry faces, not so much angry, and some happy faces. There are 12 in total here. I really like the color combinations, and the yarn behaved okay in the end, but I was crocheting outside this time because the shedding is ridiculous. There were fluffs everywhere. Steve had a little bit of fun with these as well. He made one sit and watch his iPad with him. So I might pop in a photo for you here. So as far as the stingrays go, after I had, finished hanging out with Steve and, getting dinner sorted and lunches, I managed to make one. But I think I do get them done in under an hour. So being 10 o'clock at night now, I'm pretty sure I could make at least 2 more, maybe 3 before I fall asleep, because it's way too early for me, guys, to go to bed. So while I'm watching, Leanne, more than likely on Netflix, she's like my best friend at night. My whole life, guys. So I will go ahead and make a couple of these before I, turn everything off and say goodnight. So for now, I will say goodnight to all of you, and I will see you first thing tomorrow morning. Good morning. It's Tuesday, the 6th of January, 2026. I hope you all rested well last night. I got to bed about 1 a.m. I stopped crocheting at about 12:30, and I managed to only get 2 more stingrays done. But they are very cute. I do like these colors, this color way. The only thing I realized this morning is that I haven't put any mouths on yet, but that's okay. I will get to that. That won't take very long at all. It's just a little smiley mouth. So in total now I have the 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 stingrays. I do have a little basket here, an old laundry basket, that I'm going to be filling during the week to see how far we get or how much inventory we can create for this con. I always call it a market. I guess it is just a big market, really. So let's pop those in there and let's get on to today's agenda. Now, it is nearly 10 a.m. Reason being, I did have another lazy start. I got up just after 6:30 today, had my breakfast, put the washing on. It's all hung out to dry. It is going to be another steamy day today. So I'm actually in here with the aircon. I thought I might spend some time outside, but we'll see how that goes. But more importantly, let's stick to the agenda because there are a few things to get done. Oh, and the other reason why I'm a little bit late is because I got a very quick visit with the baby this morning. My daughter-in-law's nephew, her sister came over with the babies and they're off for the day. But that was such a nice treat, I must say. So that's put a really big smile on my face. Okay, back to our agenda. So today I've decided to make some demi-gorgons. First of all, I am a huge Stranger Things fan, so it's going to be a real joy making these. I've only made the one before, and this one was the baby version, and there is an itty bitty version. So I will come back and give you some information, some details on the yarn I'll be using, and I'll show you the patterns. But I'm thinking that I might make the itty bitty one and see how they compare in size, and I'll time it. I'll actually be a grown-up and time it and see which one is the better version, or maybe I'll make a few of each. Now, I'd like to get 10 done in total, but realistically, or maybe after I time myself, I can be more realistic with my goal for today. I was thinking 4. Which would give me 5. So that would be pretty good. Anyway, so we'll get back to that because that's very important today. After all, this is, a crochet vlog, creating inventory for that big con. But I also need to make 2 videos today. So I have to do this one's going to be so much fun. The winners of the December stitch markers for our hashtag BirthstonesCal 2025. The last set of stitch markers will be going out and I'll be posting that one tonight. And then I've also got to do a video for a commission piece that I'll be, sharing with you in the very near future. But spoiler alert, if you're an Avatar fan, watch this space. It's actually a fun make. And I also need to send out the 12-month digital crochet magazine subscriptions to our winners for our hashtag best dressed 18-inch doll cow. 2 have already contacted me out of the 3. I'm so excited, so I need to get those subscriptions out to them. So that's pretty much it for the day, I'm hoping, unless something else pops up. I don't have to cook dinner, which is great because I did a slow cook lamb shanks, Steve's favorite, yesterday. So I do have some left over, which is great, which means I can spend more time on the crochet with less time away from it. So for now, I'm going to go away, come back with the pattern, hopefully another demi-gorgon made, more than likely the smaller version, and then we'll carry on with the day. So have a nice one until I see you all very, very soon. Hello, I hope you've all had a wonderful Tuesday. It's 10:30 p.m. now, so I thought I'd better check in before the day is done. So my clipboard here, I get to tick pretty much everything off the list. So let's get on to the things that aren't crochet first, because it made me feel very productive until I got to the crochet. So I needed to do 2 videos today. The December winner of the stitch markers has been announced and has already contacted me, so that was a lot of fun. I was so happy to get that one out. I did do the other video that I'm going to be posting in the very near future, so please stay tuned for that one. And I did get to send out the 3 12-month digital crochet magazine subscriptions to the lucky winners for our hashtag best dressed 18-inch doll cow. One has already emailed me to say that she did receive it, which is wonderful. I know because of all the different time zones, you know, the emails come at all different times. So I'm hoping overnight I'll get the other 2 responses saying that they've received them as well. And that was everything on my list except for the demi-gorgons. So that's the one that I had already made there. I was very ambitious, thinking I would actually get 4 done. But the good news is I got 2 done, 1 of each. So the itty bitty demi-gorgon isn't as itty bitty as I thought, which isn't bad at all. But let's just touch on these patterns in case you've never heard of them before. So Just a Mum Crocheting is the designer. These are purchased patterns from Etsy. They came in a bundle of 3, which is the baby demi-gorgon, the itty bitty baby demi-gorgon, and a little baby snuggler as well, which I don't think I could imagine really making that one, because they are actually like a monster alien beast type thing, even though they look very cute here. I don't know if I'd want a baby snuggling up to it, but that's just me, guys. That's just me. Okay, so let me show you the 2 different sizes. So this one is the baby demi-gorgon and this is the itty bitty. As you can see, there is a obvious, you know, size difference, and they are constructed very similar but different as well. So you do need to follow the pattern. I thought that I'd be able to, because I haven't memorized the pattern at all, but I just thought it would follow suit. Very similar, as I said, but not exactly the same. Now for this one here, just like I did for that one there, I used the Elise Veluto yarn. And let me just pop him there. So there we go, the little twinnies. So for this one here, the little baby one, I used the Elise Veluto yarn, black and red. And this one is color 301. I can't remember what the color name is, but that's the number of it, because this yarn comes in such a variety of colors that are very similar. So in case you were wondering, that's the one there that I used. And for the little teeth, I used just a 10-ply or 4-weight yarn acrylic. I thought using the Elise Veluto yarn would be, you know, a bit too chunky. You can tell it's very late at night because I'm losing my words, guys. They're not coming out, so please excuse me. Now for the little itty bitty one, I had 3 attempts to make it. I don't know what was going on in my head, because it doesn't start off with a circle. It starts off with one of those, you know, that you chain and you crochet on one side and then you crochet on the other. I have done that so many times, but I don't know why it wasn't working. I was using the Elise Veluto, and this yarn is amazing and soft, guys, but as I'm using it more and more, I know that I need to use it for certain projects only. And I guess that's with every yarn. It's nothing new, but I just thought this yarn would be, you know, like a blanket yarn. It would perform the same, but it's just way too soft for some projects is where I'm going with that. I did use it for the red, but here you can see this one's got some glitter, like a sparkle, the black, and so does this here, because it is the yarn that I'm calling the Sophia yarn, which is my goddaughter's yarn. So eventually when she, you know, starts importing it, you'll be able to use it too. But this is what I used for the demi-gorgon part. See how it starts off at the bottom? It's not round, like it's not a circle like that one, pardon their bottoms. And it just seemed to work with this yarn for me. Let's put them all together there. I do love that they sit perfectly well, and I always use that trick that Lisa from Lisa_crochets, our friend Lisa, that we haven't seen for ages. If you're watching this, Lisa, I hope you're well. Let us know how you are. That when you stuff the bottom of them, I always make sure I have like a hard surface underneath. I actually had a stable table on my lap, and you sit the bottom on there, and then you use the fiber fill and have a flat bottom. I love that trick, and I always use it. I might show you the giant bag of fiber fill that I finally opened that I spoke about a little while ago that I had delivered. I might show you that tomorrow if I remember, or at least before the end of this vlog. So only two, guys. The larger one took, I think, about 2 hours. I started timing myself, but I didn't put the timer on because I thought I'd be clever and just keep track of the time, because I did get up and down. You know, I always have to have a cup of coffee with me, guys, and water in between. Lately I'm trying to be good, but that one took about 2 hours. And then the little one, believe it or not, after the first 2 attempts, which actually took about 45 minutes of my day, and that was so frustrating. I was so like upset with myself because I thought, why aren't I getting this? Then I made the big one, and then I went back to the little one, different yarn, and he worked out, which is very, very good. So I only made 2. I don't think I'll be starting, actually I know I won't be starting another demi-gorgon tonight. I absolutely love these, guys, but they just take up so much time. I truly am a slow crocheter. It's very disappointing. But if you, you know, if I make a beanie, I can make it so fast, or a blanket, I can run away with it. I don't know what it is with me. I think it's because each and every row, you'll see in all my patterns when I finish with them, there is always a sticky note in there, because I use it to mark each and every row all the time, and I guess that slows me down. I guess it just comes with experience. The more, you know, you learn to read a pattern, the quicker you get. Now I'm starting to ramble because it is very late at night and I need to have a shower and a cup of tea. I'll get into bed. I was thinking that maybe I'll make a stingray tonight. Maybe. We'll see how we go. I'm feeling a little bit fried. It was a very big day, not just crochet-wise, just with everything that was going on. And I did do an Instagram post. So anyone that's on Instagram, go and have a look. And that's about it, guys. It's time for me to say goodnight, and I shall see you in the morning. Take care until then. Bye. Good morning. Welcome to Wednesday, the 7th of January 2026. It's another beautiful day here in Sydney, Australia. People are going about their business. The birds have finally quietened down, but you might see or hear them in the background. I'll keep this very, very brief. Today I'm going to have lunch with one of my girlfriends that I see every school holidays. We started off at the Department of Education about 20 years ago. We currently work at different schools, but we catch up every school holidays. Of course, we're going to my favourite place, the Lantern Club. So I thought I need something that I can take on the go today, crochet-wise. So I did look at my original list. I found the original list, which was great, and one of the things on there was dice bags, and I thought, well, that's going to give me a nice break from all the toy making. So I looked at a few YouTube tutorials. They're all very, very basic, very easy. I'm not going to do the ones that have like the dragon scales and things like that on them. I'm going to keep it very basic. I have so much cotton yarn, so I will be using cotton yarn. Most of them recommend a 4mm hook, which will be a nice change of pace for me as well. I was going to use some of this Abbey Road cotton yarn here that I have. I was hoping that I had some of the one that had the brown and the green in it, because D&D, so Dungeons and Dragons, they're the people that usually use the dice bags, and I thought that that would look nice. So I might go upstairs into my stash and have a look at maybe some solid colors as well, with the greens and the browns, maybe some grays, and see if I have any of this upstairs, because I thought I had my whole stash down here. Anyway, that's by the by, it doesn't really matter. So that's the plan for the day. Make some dice bags. Hopefully I can smash out a few. On my list I have 10, which would be nice, because I thought, you know, at the CollectFest probably would suit that crowd. You can see, can you hear the birds, guys? This is nothing. This is actually nothing. There's usually so many of them, flocks of them. Is that what you call a flock of birds? Yes. Anyway, so I'm going to go away now. I've got a couple of hours that I can still stay in my pajamas, which is going to be fun. Then I'm going to have lunch, and I'll check in later on today, see how we're traveling. If not, you know, once at least I will be checking in tonight. Words, people, words. I've only had one coffee, as you can tell so far, so I will get one in before I leave as well. So I hope you have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing today. If you're relaxing like me, or catching up with friends, or just, you know, just doing you, have fun. I'll talk to you later. I did find some of that yarn, so I'm very, very lucky. And I have made my first little dice bag. So cute, guys. It doesn't take very long at all, and I've added a little bead. So I'm just going to continue crocheting, maybe finish another bag before I have to leave. I've still got about half an hour or so before I have to get ready. So I'm going to continue watching YouTube, because I am catching up on some of our YouTube friends, which has been a lot of fun. It is such a beautiful morning here. You can probably still hear some of the birds chirping. The neighbours are out there doing some housework, so I can hear that as well. But it is such a beautiful morning to be sitting out here. And I have to say that I'm enjoying crocheting with something other than just plushie yarn, even though I have been enjoying making the toys of late. It's just nice to get back to some of the things that I haven't had time. And I do really enjoy crocheting bags and blankets and beanies and things other than just toys. So today's actually been a little blessing. It's almost a little reset. So I'm going to continue. Now these little dice bags, by the way, guys, are very quick and easy to make. And lucky I watched a couple of YouTube tutorials, because not being a gamer myself, I've never played, you know, D&D. I should have tapped into my son and my stepson. They would have been able to guide me. But I would have made huge bags. But these are so cute. Apparently you need to fit 7 dice in here, like a set of 7. I might make a couple of bigger bags as well, because some people have a couple of sets. I did see some with sections in them, but I'm not going to go down that path. I'm just going to stick to something quick and easy, simple, but also pretty, or functional and pretty. It doesn't have to be too pretty, I guess. But anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I'm just going to continue out here for a little bit longer. I've actually turned myself around so I can have a view of the park, and it is very, very soothing and tranquil. So I'm going to carry on with today, and I'll check in with you a little bit later. Bye. Final check-in for the day. Lunch at the Lantern Club was beautiful. I had a nice catch up with my girlfriend. They still have Christmas decorations up, which was still really nice. I had a cheeseburger and fries for lunch. But now let's get on to how many dice bags did I crochet today. Now I haven't completed them all because I haven't made the drawstrings. So the first one that you saw this morning was this little guy here, and I do have some dice in there. I actually bought a pack of 10 from the reject shop, but they aren't, I think, the same size as the D&D ones. They're a little bit smaller, but they are a nice chunky size, and I can fit nearly 10 in here. So I've got 7 in here for now. I'll just pop them in there so you can get an idea for sizing. Now I think this size bag is actually really good for just sitting on the table. But my son, I did consult my son, and he did say maybe make them a little bit bigger. So what I've done is I've made them a few different sizes, and I've used cotton yarn for all of them, and I'll show you the yarn that I've used. I have been using a 4.5mm hook for the body of the bag, and I do use a 4mm hook for the chain, for the drawstring. And I am using these wooden beads that I've had for a very long time in my, collection of beads. And I am using them, oh, well, I've got it here. I don't need to open it. I'm using, it's like the second smallest bead. There's about 4 sizes in there. So there's this one here that I made. I was so happy that I found this yarn here. This yarn is the Abbey Road cotton. It's a beautiful yarn. I've used it before to make market bags, and I did use, I think, a 4mm hook when I was making those. So I managed to make 3, I think, out of this one. I don't think there's enough to make another one, but I'll use it for the drawstrings. So I made this one using that yarn, this one here. So I've got 2 the same size. I made 2 before I asked my son what he thought. And then I made one that I think would fit 2 lots of dice in there, because some people do say that they like to carry a couple of sets around. So as you can see, it is a very, very simple pattern. I've adapted a few of the patterns that I saw on YouTube, and I made up my own in the end. So basically I start off with 12 double crochets, but then I ended up with 10 to get this. The width was getting too wide, I thought, for this project, this type style bag. So I wanted it to be a bit more slender. So I went down to 10 double crochet, and then I increased to 20. This one is 12, so it's a little bit wider. And then to make it the right, how fat I wanted it, the circumference of it, I actually started to do half double crochets in the 3rd increase. So you'll see here when I was starting to make them like a medium-sized bag, which would still fit 7 dice in here, die, is that what they're called? Very, very easily. So I've got this larger one here. That's the largest one that I've got. So that was all from that yarn that I just showed you. Then I used this colorway, Freckles, in the Abbey Road. Really like that one. And I made these 2. Now this one here, believe it or not, it's actually out of the same, well, you can see all the colors there, same skein of yarn. Now this one here, I've sized them down to the double crochets, half double crochets, but these were still at 12. So they're a bit wider than these ones that I'll show you now, which I used the Flinders cotton, and this is all 8-ply or 3-weight yarn. And I also used the Hobie 8/8 cotton. It was just I love this yarn. What is it? We Love yarn. And I purchased these 2-3 years ago on, they had those Black Friday sales or whatever they're called. So this is this one here, the Flinders yarn. And I've gone down to an increase of 30 stitches. This one was 36. That's the difference, and this one was 24. So you can see the different sizes, which will accommodate a lot of different people's preferences. And then these are the ones with the Hobie yarn. I'll put the black one there. So in total, I've made 8. They're not complete because I still need to do the drawstrings and put the little bead on, which won't take very long at all. So that was pretty good today. I crocheted 2 while I was there. This big one here, and I think one of these, maybe this one. So even though we're having nice chats and we're eating and drinking our coffee and what have you, I managed to do a little bit of crochet as well. So today was pretty productive. It was a nice change to using, the plushy yarns, just to mix it up a bit, because sometimes we do need that. I don't know about you guys, but I've got a dent in my finger. Can you see that? It doesn't seem to be wanting to go away. I have made this little protective thing that I wear. I'll show it to you tomorrow if I remember, but honestly. Anyway, once again, I'm getting a little bit rambly because it is nearly 11 o'clock at night. So I'm going to have a shower, have a nice cup of tea. I probably won't work on these anymore now. I have started a couple of stingrays that I made the tops yesterday, like last night. I might make the bottoms tonight so that I can get those stuffed before the end of the week as well, put some eyes on them. And now we've got the decision tomorrow to make. What will I work on tomorrow? Will it be something that I continue with that I've already started, like the axolotls, the rats and the Yodas? Maybe that's a good plan. Or will I go with something completely from the list that I haven't started as yet? we will make that decision together tomorrow morning. So sweet dreams for now, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye. Good morning, friends. Welcome to Thursday, the 8th of January 2026. I hope you all rested well and had a good night's sleep. I did not. I know I look a little bit smashed. I actually feel hungover. Did not have a party to go with it though. I just couldn't sleep. I don't know about you guys, but I have these nights maybe once a month. I got to sleep at I think about 3:30, 4 a.m. and then I heard Steve leave for work. It was around 5-ish. Tried to fall asleep a bit more, but it just didn't work. So the way that I'm feeling today, I didn't have the brain capacity to think of anything new to start. So the plan for the moment is that I complete the dice bags that I started yesterday. When I say complete, I mean making the tie that goes with it. So that won't take very long, adding the bead. And I do have 8. I would have liked 10 in total. So more than likely I will make 2 more. So to have a complete set that I started, you know, in my notes, I had put that I'd like to make 10. So that's a plan. I had also started a couple more stingrays. I mentioned last night that I had started them the night before. So I have this, I actually like these colors, and this one here too. These are just mill ends that I'm using, blanket yarn. So I wanted to make 10 in total, and from memory I've got my basket here that I'm collecting everything, you know, from this week's vlog. I had 7, I think. So if I finish 3 today, that'll be great. These are half done already. And then last night, because I just couldn't sleep, as I was scrolling through YouTube and Instagram, I saw that the Friendly Red Fox had this tiny no-sew turtle. So of course I started it. Look at that face. It's not finished by no means. I hope it sits right when I stuff the shell, but it's a relatively quick make, even for me who is a slow crocheter, and it was very late in the morning hours that I started this, probably an hour and a half in. So I've just got to finish the shell part, so the underbelly, and then I can close that off. For this one I have used the Lime Brand Cover Story yarn in the colors Rocket Ship. I just think it looks really pretty. And then I had the outer part, and I'll show it to you, the Valuable Blankie yarn from Spotlight in the color Pineapple. I love that center color there. I use that for my Birthstones cowl blanket, one of the squares. But I had this left over, the outside bit, which is paler, and I thought it matched this colorway quite nicely. It is thicker yarn than this one here, and luckily I read, or the tutorial told us to use a bigger size hook for the shell for some reason, and especially with this being a slightly thinner yarn to this sorbet yarn here, it worked out well. So I used 7 millimeters for the fins and the head, and an 8 millimeter for the hook, for the shell. Okay, I've only had one coffee, guys. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be a scorcher of a day, I think, today, but the sun is shining. It's absolutely beautiful. I might be able to hang out on the balcony for a couple, maybe an hour this morning before the sun, because the sun starts at the front of our house and then wraps around to the back by the end of the day. So I might be able to get, you know, some time on there before it gets super hot. So that's the plan for this morning. I'm not someone that naps, because then I'll feel even worse. So if anyone is screaming that out at me or calling that out, it's not going to happen. I'll probably try to just get through the day and finish these projects. And when I do finish these, I might make another turtle, maybe go down that path. We'll see. I'll check in a little bit later and let you know how I'm traveling for the day. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Hi guys, just a quick check-in. It's about 4 hours since I last saw you. It's just about 1:30 p.m. I have sat out here in the sunshine all morning. It's been wonderful. I didn't realize it's been 4 hours. I have been crocheting and finished off the dice bags. I'll show them to you in a moment. I managed to get 10 done, and I've binge watched as many YouTube videos as I can, catching up with all our yarny friends. Now I did up the size for the beads that I was using, the wooden beads for the coin bag, for the dice bags. And I have sewn in every single end. It took longer to sew in the ends than it did to crochet the 2 extra bags. I did go with just the solid colors. So now I have 5 of each. So I have various sizes, which is great. This one still has the dice in it. Might be a little bit long, that one, but that's okay. The, what do you call that thing? The tie. I have had a coffee since I last saw you. So I've got this one here and this one here. They're the smaller version. Pop them on this side here. And then I have these 3. That's the biggest one I have. And as you can see, the little bead is slightly bigger, but it still is really nice. It's not loose at all when when you draw it in and out, close it. And then I have these 2 here. So they're the 5 variegated yarns, and then I have 5 solid colors. This was the gray that you saw yesterday, the dark gray, and then I had a black, so I made another black. That's 3, and then I have the olive greeny color and another lighter gray. So that's done. I can pop those into that washing basket. I'm so happy that I managed to get 10 done. At some stage I need to do some pricing for all of these things. Oh wow, I can feel that breeze. Funny you could feel it as well. Now I wanted to show you this because I have been using it. Last night I showed you that my finger had a dent in it from where the yarn drags across the way I crochet, for the tension. And it doesn't matter what yarn I use, but I did make this. It's very homemade. It's nothing special. It's just a tube basically, and you make it as long as you like for your finger. And I just put it over my finger, even though it does get a little bit hot. It's really good. Sometimes I have to take it off, but at least I don't get that mark. There's only a slight mark there now because I did take it off for some of the time when I was crocheting. But this is actually a really good tool for you to have. That's not the word tool, but something to protect your finger if you need to. I can't use those tension rings. I have tried, and I don't know if there's a variety out there. It was just one of those metal, like silver ones that look like a swan type thing. I did buy them very early on in my crochet career, and I have tried to use them. They were a novelty, but they weren't functional for me. So this is actually doing the job quite well. Like I said, it does get a little bit hot because it's made out of blanket yarn, but I needed it to be cushy. And the yarn does sometimes drag a little bit on it, but it's well worth it because when the yarn drags on your finger, it actually burns and it does leave that dent, which I'm worried won't go away. Anyway, so I thought I'd share that with you because I did mention it last night. I'm going to go away now. I'm actually going to go inside. It's way too hot out here. I still have the stingray to complete and the turtle. I'm always more ambitious than, how fast I can crochet, but getting those 10 dice bags done this week has been good. I'm really enjoying the variety of not just doing the one make all week, which was my original train of thought, how to approach the market makes for this con. But as many people have said, they're absolutely right. You do need to flip it and switch it because it does get very monotonous and boring, for me anyway. Some people can smash out 50 pieces of the same thing. I have found that it doesn't work as well for me. But that's okay. We find our rhythm, we find our way, and we do what's best for us. I think it's time for a shower, sit in the aircon. I do have to upload my pros and cons historic temperature blanket. So by now that's already out. I wonder how many of you have watched it. If not, I will link it down in the description box for you. It is a nice video. I just share my thoughts on my historic blanket basically. So for now I'll let you go. I hope you're still enjoying your day. If you're still on holidays, that is awesome because I know this time of the year a lot of companies and businesses, workplaces close down. Most of my family is off. Some have gone back to work. As you know, Steve is back at work, but he's in construction. Buildings never stop, and he's doing schools at the moment, so now is the time to get into the schools when they've closed down. So I'll leave you for now, and I'll check in at least once before the end of the day maybe twice, but definitely once. See you all very, very soon. Last check-in for Thursday, I managed to finish the 3 extra stingrays, the 2 that I started a couple of nights ago, 1 today, and they all have little mouths on them now. They are very cute, right guys? I understand why people enjoy making them, because the end result is super cute, and they are no sew except for that one end that you sew in at the very end. I just love them. I didn't want to squish them too much because I know they're meant to be quite flat, and the beauty of using the variegated yarn is that you don't have to sew those little extra bits on top. The little eyes are tiny. I opted not to embroider any eyes this time, and I did sit down and, as I said, embroider all the eyes. So there's all the colors there. I have 10 at the moment, 2 of each color. I don't know if I'll have an opportunity to make any more. They weren't even on the original list, but they're made now, so I'm absolutely thrilled that I've done them. And I did finish the little no-sew turtle by the Friendly Red Fox. He turned out rather cute, even if I do say so myself. Now, this is no-sew, guys. It's actually amazing. I really enjoyed following the YouTube tutorial because I always have difficulty working out which way to sew in the fins so that they sit right, and the head's pretty much centered. I think it shows better in real life. I did stuff it quite firmly. She does ask you to do that, but there is also a written pattern on the vlog. The only problem with the vlogs are, and it's amazing that we get all these free patterns, I am not complaining, is that, you know, there's a lot of ads and you've got to scroll through them. My iPad at the moment is so full that I think it's just very, very slow as well. But I did enjoy making this little guy. He isn't big at all. He's actually a really nice size. I am going to try to make him again in very different yarn or slightly different yarn. I want yarns that are more, this one was a little bit thicker than this one, so maybe more compatible, although these did work together very well. I didn't take an hour to make this, guys. I probably took at least 2 hours or maybe more, but he's done, and that's all that matters, because that was my goal for today, to finish him at the very least, finish the stingray and finish the dice bags, which I have done. I also want to show you the fiber fill that I've been telling you about for a while. So since you last saw me, I managed to drag myself to the gym because I really need to get some exercise in. I haven't been out since, I think, Monday, when I last had my walk up to the shops at Bardwell Park, and today was very hot. I couldn't walk, so I thought I'll take advantage of my gym membership. I only popped in for about half an hour because, if you remember, I didn't get much sleep last night, so I'm hoping that tonight I do catch up on some sleep. So I went there for about half an hour, but every time I go to the gym, my incentive is that I can pop into Spotlight. Now, once upon a time, my Spotlight was like the place to go if you wanted millions. The bins were always overflowing. They had 3, 4 out the front at times. It was like a gold mine in millions. But for the last, maybe going on to nearly a year, it's been horrible, and today was no different. All I could find in the plush yarn was this very, very, very thick blanket yarn. Chose not to purchase it at all, even though some of those colors were very enticing. And then there was some acrylic yarn, which wasn't even that exciting for the people that really enjoy acrylic, and I have way too much in my stash, so I didn't bother with that. It wasn't on sale or anything either, but I always have a little look when I go in there. But I also wanted to go and take a photo for you so you can see the cost of the fiber fill. It's gone up to $30 a kilo, guys, which is ridiculous, and a 200-gram little bag is now $10. So I'm going to show you this giant bag that I have here. Actually, it's not a bag, it's actually like a cushion cover. Look at this. Oh my gosh, guys, it's bigger than me. So in here, it's just under 10 kilos of fiber fill because I've already opened it and I've been using it. Now, this actually comes from a company that makes cushions and pillows. So they sell cushions and pillows to the public, and they also sell fiberfill. Now, I found out about them thanks to Sammy at Sammy Crochets about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blogs ago. She mentioned it, and I had taken note because I thought I really need to look into this. Now, this cost me, and I'm pretty sure that it would be very similar if you were to purchase it in Australia, that is. So the 5 kilos for the fiberfill was $49.90. Postage was $23.10, a total of $73.03. Remember, it's 5 kilos, which equates to just under $15 a kilo, which is $14.60 a kilo. And that's half price. Half price, guys, of what Spotlight is charging. So if you have the opportunity to, if you wish to purchase from them, I'll see if I've got the name of the company here, or you can just Google, I guess, wherever you are in the world as well, companies that make cushions and pillows. You might be able to buy some fiberfill from them. You can buy a kilo at a time, by the way. You can buy 10 kilos if you wish, but I thought that I would try it out first. It's just called Pillows and Cushions, the company. Well, that was pretty easy. And they're based in Victoria, just so you know that it came to me from another state, which was very reasonable postage as well. So I've been dipping into that. Thankfully, I had that order put through because I did use the last of my fiberfill from Spotlight not long ago. I will show you what it looks like. I know you think fiberfill is fiberfill, but it's not. The original or the old Spotlight fiberfill that I used to buy from them was actually quite soft. Of late, it wasn't actually very soft at all. And this one is something in between, somewhere in between, but it does expand. This came to me half the size. It was a bit like the Elise Voluto yarn. When I opened it, it just grew and expanded, and it was funny watching this grow as well. So I have this tucked away in a corner, and I just take some out into a bag, obviously, and I use it as I need it. So I thought that I would share that with you today. I did have a little Spotlight fix, but there was absolutely nothing there. So for now, I will say that today was a success in that I did manage to tick the things off my list that I had put on there in the morning. I haven't made anything extra, and I probably won't do any crochet tonight, I don't think. It is nearly, it's after 9:30, so it's getting closer to 10 o'clock. I will have another shower. It's been such a hot day, but I will make a nice cup of tea and go to bed. We've been watching The Blacklist again, revisiting it all over again. I think we're up to season 4. And I don't think it's late night viewing, so although I do enjoy that show very much, I'll put something lighter on now. So I will see you all in the morning for Friday. Tomorrow will be the 9th. So have a good night's rest. Let's hope that we all do. And I will see you very, very soon. Good morning and cheers. Welcome to Friday, the 9th of January 2026. I hope you all rested well. I certainly did. I got, I think, a good solid 5 hours in, which is amazing after the night I had the night before. So today on the crochet agenda, I'm going to call it Finish It Friday. Reason being, there are quite a few things that I have started, which I think that I should add to that inventory, and a few of them I haven't finished, so they're mid-make. So I have been making rats, and I've experimented with a couple of different yarns. They do turn out slightly different sizes. Now the pattern that I'm using very quickly, because that is very important, is the one here by QB Crochet. I haven't got my glasses on, so it took a moment. I think a lot of people make this pattern. So obviously along the way, I've been watching other YouTubers making this, and I thought, let me try it, and it is a great pattern in case you were wondering. Now I did make the first one using, so this grey one here, I made him with, I think they're quite cute for rats, by the way. I made him with Motovera blanket yarn, a blankie yarn. That's quite readily available here in Sydney, Australia. I usually buy mine quite cheaply, and I was gifted some by the lovely Sam as well. Thank you, Sam. I've been powering through that stash that you sent me, but it is a little bit harder on the hands. So then I started to make him or her or them using what I've coined as Sophia's yarn, my goddaughter's yarn. And as you can see, they're slightly, ever so slightly different in size. This one is smaller. I also made a brown version. And he, for some reason, actually turned out even smaller. Maybe it's how much I stuffed them. But I think that they're very, very cute. I think I might stick to the grey and pink and the white and pink. Oh, mate, I do like the brown as well. I shouldn't say that because I don't have any grey yarn that is suitable other than the Blanky Vera yarn, the Motor Vera Blanky yarn, because I don't have any other greys in my stash really. I will have a much better look today. Truth be told, I didn't go hunting at the time. So I haven't got any mid-make rats, but I do need to add to my inventory. Now the other things that I've been making are some, you can see them here, some axolotl, and the pattern that I'm using is the one by Peach Puff Patterns. And the reason why I went for this pattern is because I'm trying to make them look more Minecraft than just mainstream cutie pies, cutie little plushies. But in saying that, they are very cute. Again, I made this one using the Motor Vera Blanky yarn. And as you can see, he is quite big compared to his little friend here. Not much difference in size, but slightly different in size, because this one I'm using, again, what I've coined as the yarn here from my goddaughter Sophia. What I love about this yarn, it's tubular, it's so easy to work with, it's squishy, and it has a bit of sparkle in it. Pretty much all the skeins, I don't think we have any colours without it. So I need to make some more axolotl. I do have one on the hook already, which is great, on the go. There he is there with one leg. And that's the difference that the only thing I've changed up in the pattern is I do the colour change for the legs and for the tail when I connect the two pieces together. Really interesting pattern actually. I'd never made a plushie like that before, because you do some flat crochet as well. I think for these guys I use 16mm eyes, and for these guys I just embroidered them on. So they're quite baby safe too, I guess, child safe. And then the next one that I've been making, and it is the little alien, so they're like baby Yodas from Naughty Baubles, free pattern on Instagram. The other two were paid patterns from Etsy. Are these little baby Yoda? Well, I keep calling them that. They are so super cute, right guys? I've made 2, 4, 5, including this one. The only thing that I've changed with the pattern is that I actually surface crochet the collar on, because at first I was pinning all the back loops, all the front loops, so that I could crochet the collar on afterwards. But it just made it easier to do it this way, and actually quicker in actual fact. And it does turn out quite nice. You can't really tell where the color changes is underneath, which I have been making cleaner color changes lately as well. Coffee number 1 only, guys. Need to learn how to speak. Okay, so they're the ones that I have to make as well. I've made 5, and one little guy just needs ears, so he's pretty much done as well. Another one to finish. So look, I'm not going to be over what's the word, like I won't think, oh, I'm going to make like 10 of each today. I'm going to make 1 of each hopefully, and finish the ones I've started, which would be amazing. My hands are starting to get a little bit tired here. I think it might be a little bit of arthritis kicking in, might be a flare up, because it is very humid. Like, I'm sitting here, guys, it's only 8 AM and I'm sweating. I don't think it's a going out of the house day. Maybe I'll be in my pajamas all day with the aircon on. Although I have managed to do a load of washing on, and I've got a big blanket in, and I'm going to put another one in. Perfect weather for drying clothes. But you're not here for that. You're here for the crochet. So I'm going to go away for a little bit. I might tap in at some stage today. If not, you know, once or twice, definitely end of day, so I can show you what I got up to. Whatever you're getting up to today, enjoy, guys. It is Friday. The weekend is nearly here, although every day has been a weekend for me the last couple of weeks, so I can't complain. So on that note, I'm going to say see you all later. Check-in time. I was crocheting on the balcony actually up until just now because it was actually beautiful out there, but now it's starting to warm up. So I'm in here in the aircon. I've been away for about 4 hours and it feels like half an hour, guys. How time flies when you're having fun. Of course, I wasn't crocheting for the whole entire time, but let me tell you, there is something to say about batch crocheting because I quickly forgot everything about this little pattern here. It's only a 14 round repeat, and then I surface crochet the collar and make the little ears. So my very first dilemma was this, guys. Which 7mm hook did I use? And you may giggle and think, why was that a dilemma, Litza? Because this hook here, which is just a no-name brand from Amazon, 7mm steel hook, which I absolutely love, is very different to this 7mm Clover Amour hook, which is plastic. Now, thankfully, the yarn that I'm using, the Elise Veluto, and I'll show you the colors in a moment up close, give you the color numbers. I don't have the names. It glides over both of them because it's such a soft yarn. But let me tell you, I have discovered that using these hooks at the wrong time, if you swap them over, you do get a slightly different size plushie. And then after I went through that whole process, I was thinking way back when I started making the Yodas, I was actually using this yarn for nearly all of my plushies. And they are turning out slightly bigger, so I might have to stick to that hook for a while. Now my other dilemma was, I started surface crocheting the collar on, and of course I went immediately into single crochet mode, and when I looked at it, I thought, why does it look so flat? That's because it's a half double crochet that you need to do the collar. So they were the first two things that delayed me, but I did finish this little guy off. I crocheted his ears and then I just sewed them on. Positioning them on is very easy because I was using one of my others as a template. I just used the back of the bobble for the arm and then just count up 3 on either side. Do a little look from the back, see if they look even. I wish they were just a little bit pointier, the ears, but this Elise Veluto yarn is so soft, it's easy to manipulate a little bit. Before I get on to the other little guy that I made, because I have the completed one and the one that I started from scratch, I'm using the Elise Veluto yarn. As I said, it's very, very beautiful and soft. This one I think is called Tobacco. Don't quote me on it, but it is color number 329, and this green is color number 103. Both very, very nice yarns, as you can imagine. Now, when I started to make the second little guy, it came to the time to put in his eyes, his safety eyes. And I thought, oh, what size eyes are these? What size was I using back then? Because I didn't write anything down. Because I make it slightly bigger to the pattern, the Instagram pattern, the free one. So thankfully, I remembered I had this safety eye tool measuring kit, sizer. So I knew that it wouldn't be a huge eyes. And I took out this one here, and I was guessing it'd be a 10 or a 12. So what I did is, I mean, you guys may already do this, but this was great that I thought of it for me. And then I just put it against that little bit there, the cutout, and I worked out that it's a 12mm eye. Can you guys see that? So that was really handy. Otherwise, I would have just guessed it. I guess tried somehow to measure it. But this was actually a nice little investment that I bought off, I think, Temu for a very small amount of money. So if you come across something like that, add it to your tools for your crocheting. So that's it. That's the check-in for now. I'm going to work on, I think, the axolotl next because I have got a blue one that I've already started. So until I see you soon, have fun. Hello, it's check-in time. Today I have also been timing my makes. The little Yoda took just under 1 hour and 10 minutes. That's including the stuffing, the putting in the safety eyes and sewing any bits and pieces on. And the little axolotls that I'm going to show you take 1 hour and 15 minutes. The same concept, you know, the crocheting, the stuffing, the eyes and the sewing, which really did surprise me because I would have thought that the axolotls took a lot longer than the Yodas. But in saying that, the reason why I've started to time them is because I need to work out the pricing, which we'll touch on a little bit later. So when I last left you, I had this little axolotl with just a head and 1 foot or 1 leg. and then I completed him. I finished him, I crocheted him, not just finished him, using this 7mm crochet hook, the Clover and More. And I thought that I would experiment to see if my little, you know, like thoughts about the different size hooks are real or am I imagining it. And for this yellow little guy here, I did use the generic hook, the 7mm hook, and he does turn out just ever so slightly bigger. So if I have them like kissing cousins and go all the way down, you can see that there is just a very slight difference. Not very much at all, but it is there. So it is very important that we use the right size hook all the time so that our work looks nice and neat. So now I've added another 1.5 axolotls to my inventory. I am going to go away and crochet at least one rat. I really do think that the rats are going to take longer, because if I just grab one here, this tail takes so long. I think it's down to 4 single crochets. So although it's not that long and it's not a huge job, it's just a little bit fiddly. I'm not going to use the Motivera Blankie yarn. I'm going to see what other yarn I have available to me in the white, the grey and the brown. So I'm not sure what colour I'm going to come back with, what colour rat, but I definitely will come back for one more check-in as far as these little makes for today go. Look, I'm not making multiples of each one, but I am creating inventory, and it is keeping me interested because it's not the same thing over and over again. So thank you for indulging me for this segment of today's makes. I will be back for Finish It Friday very, very soon. Last check-in for the day. Oh my gosh, where did that day go? It's 11 p.m. at night. Since I last saw you, I've made 2 rats. They're so cute, like seriously. I did put red eyes on him this time, and I made a brown version. So now I have 2, 4, 6 rats in total. They take 1 hour and 36 minutes to make, which is, I guess, kind of what I predicted, a bit longer than the others. The Yoda and the little axolotls. It's the tail that gets me every time. It goes down to 4 single crochets, but that was worth it. I did make one. No, I used the metal hook for both. Yeah, not one of each. I used the metal hook for both. And then just for fun, because I had a little bit of extra time, because Steve and I have been binge watching The Lincoln Lawyer, because season 4 comes out, I think, 2nd of February. So anybody that watches it, maybe it's time for you to rewatch all of the seasons as well, like I am. Anyway, so I made a little, I call it the cranky banana, but it's the dangly banana. Free Instagram pattern. I had made one before, but tonight's turned out really tiny compared to the one I had made before. But they're buddies now. But look at the size difference. Oh my gosh. I must have used a different size hook. I need to start writing things like that down. So they were just a little extra because I was down there and I had the yarn that I had used on the first one down there. I used my Aldi baby yarn in the yellow and this gorgeous Jolly and Joy yarn. I love this yarn in the chocolate. So I did use a 5mm hook. I think I must have used maybe a 6.5 or something, 6mm hook for that. But anyway, I'm delirious because it's the end of 5 days of crocheting for this con. I feel like I've gotten some progress, and yet I feel like there is so much more to do. So when you next see me, there's going to be a little bit of a roundup. Maybe I'll do a tally, come to some pricing and see how much we made in the last 5 days, as you know, as far as inventory goes. As you can see, I've had a pajama day today, which was pretty awesome. So it's time to shower, get into a new nightie or pajamas and hop into bed with a nice cup of tea. And I think it's time to hang out with my friend Leanne. So on that note, I'm going to say good night and I will see you all tomorrow. Hello, I'm back for the last check-in for our little 5-day challenge, creating inventory for the con that I'll be attending in March this year, which is only about 8 weeks away. How exciting. The goal was to create as much inventory as I could to fill this washing basket here. Let's see how well we've done. Now, along the way, I've used bought patterns, YouTube tutorials, free Instagram patterns, and free blog patterns as well. And it has been a lot of fun to take all of those from, you know, the resources that I've accumulated. And I have to say that there is so much out there, guys. We are so lucky. But I have had a lot of fun for the last 5 days. I hope you like the little bit of life that I've sprinkled in there as well. But as I'm showing you everything as a whole and popping it into this basket, I'm going to let you know the prices that I'm thinking of charging. Of course, if you're not watching from Australia, this is going to be in Australian dollars. I would really love your input if you think the prices are just right, too high or too low. And also at the end, I'll do a tally based on the prices that we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to pop these patterns to the side because I don't need them right now. I have referred to them throughout the vlog. So if you haven't watched it all, go back, guys. It's going to be a fun watch. Now, let's start off with the gummy worms. I'm only going to be popping in here what I've made over the last 5 weeks, not the ones that I started off with, because I did kind of make it like a finishing off type video. Friday was fun, calling it Finishing Friday, I thought. Anyway, so I made 6 little gummy worms. Now, these are a free tutorial, as I've mentioned, from Katie the Celestial Homebody. All of them, including the first 6 that I'd made, have little faces on them now. So I'm thinking of charging $25 a piece, so that would make it $150. Yes, is that what I've got there? Yes, because 25, 50, 35 is 150. I've got to stop second guessing my maths. So there's 6. Let's pop those into our basket. And then I made some stingrays. I already had 4 made up, so I made another 6. How cute are these guys, right? I like to try and stack them. Whoop. Here we go. Great balancing act. It's not going to happen. So let's pop those 4 and the other 2 in there. These I was also thinking of charging $25 a piece, so that's another $150 in there. Let's put them facing the right way. And then I made some, these may not be in order, guys, but that's okay. And then I thought I'd make some demigorgons, you know, Stranger Things fans here. So I did make the itty bitty one and the baby one. I'm going to pop these in here very gently because I don't want them to break. Now, they were a little bit more time consuming than I would have liked, but that's okay. I was thinking of charging $45 for the larger one and $35 for the smaller one. I didn't show them to you enough, just so you can see the size difference. I think they turned out pretty cute. Now, I was watching Ella at No Catchy Name, and she said that she made hers in a darker color, the body of them, because the Demigorgon in Stranger Things is darker brown. So I thought that was brilliant, Ella. So I might make a couple in the darker color as well and see what people think of them. Now, next I did make, I think it was I made dice bags. So I have made 10 in total. This one actually has 10 dice in there, or die, just so you could see, like for me too, for size wise. But when I showed them to my son, he did say make them a little bit bigger. So what I've done is I've got the 2 small ones, which actually sit perfectly on a tabletop. And for these, I thought I'd charge $20 each. So there's $40 there. And then I've made 8 larger ones. So for these, all of these, I thought I would charge $30 each. So that was 10 of those in total. And then I think I made the little Yodas. I did finish one, his little ears. I'm not going to count him. And I did make this little guy here. They are so cute. For a free pattern, that is pretty awesome. And here I've written $30 for this guy, because it did take just over an hour to make. I think an hour and 10 minutes from memory. So we have one of him. And then I made some axolotl. I did finish one, which I'm not going to count. And then I made these 2 here as well. And I'm thinking $35 each for the axolotl. So that's $70 worth of inventory. And then I made, I think, a turtle. I can't remember when the turtle came into the equation, but this was a free YouTube tutorial and also a blog pattern on there. The Friendly Red Fox from memory, but like I said, all the details are in the previous days. And for him, I thought $35. He's not very big. And there was no color changing or anything, so that made it pretty easy. I have no idea how long it took me because I didn't time that one. So that was $35. Then I made 2 rats. Here they are here. Very, very cute. And I thought for these, $35 each as well. So that's $70 worth of inventory. Oops, let's pop them in there. And I did have enough time to make a little dangly banana, which I like to call the cranky banana. And I thought for him $25. And I think that's all that we made. So have a look at this, guys. That's not too bad at all. It's at least 2/3 of the way full. And in total, I made 21 plushies, 10 dice bags, and I got $890 worth of inventory. So let's hope that that all sells, because that is almost, but not quite enough, to pay for my space for the 2 days. So I guess that's not pretty bad for 1 week's worth of work. I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys. I hope you did too. It was a very hot week. It was a fun week. You saw me in all my glory, day and night, which I thought was pretty awesome. It was like really getting to hang out with you. So once again, thank you for helping me market prep. It's always more fun when you do it with friends. It is the weekend here now. Today is a scorcher. Thank goodness for aircon. Hopefully tomorrow will cool down. But wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a wonderful time. And until I see you all very, very soon, take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.